everyone, we're going to take a break from our regularly scheduled hilarious intro to talk about this comment from Jason Bullman, since this episode's partially about Pathfinder. If you ever wondered to yourself, why do you guys talk about Paizo content so much? It's because while having an awesome community and while having a really fun game to talk about and lots of content, they act like this. This is a comment from them. This is Jason Bullman.
So basically, the reason why we do this content is because Senpai notices you?
No, no. I mean, kind of, but no. I'd also like to point your attention to this comment from all the staff at Wizards of the Coast. Hi everyone, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
I'm Indigo.
Today we're here to talk to you about two RPGs that are getting updates.
The two biggest RPGs that are getting updates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Pathfinder 2nd Edition, some information that they have been leaking out. They're intentionally putting it out there.
They've been dripping it out.
Yeah.
It's not a leak.
Like if they were a faucet, they had intentionally turned it slightly so that a little bit came out. Phrasing.
Yeah.
And then the second thing we're going to be talking about is a conversation that Mike Merle had with Kotaku about some changes that they are planning on testing out in the future. So
I didn't know Kotaku covered RPG stuff.
They kind of do, but they're talking about it for a different reason. We'll get into it when we talk about that one, unless you want to just go straight to D&D.
Well, no, I just want to say stay the off my turf, Kotaku.
Now that Krug has calmed down and taken a sedative, Jason Bowman came out and basically said, hey, Pathfinder 2nd Edition comes out August 1st, and so from now until then, every week I'm gonna do a blog post basically giving you a little bit of more information about 2nd Edition, why we're doing it, all that fun stuff.
Building the hype train.
Yeah, absolutely. Which immediately brings me in. Let's figure this out. I want more information.
Yeah.
And then I read it and I was like, cool, I learned nothing. I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding. I didn't learn anything, but that was because we have been keeping up with what's going on. This is the start of it, and so they're basically like, hey, this is kind of the heart, this is kind of the feeling of what Pathfinder 2nd Edition is.
Yes, we're potentially disproportionately informed, relative to the rest of the community.
Exactly.
So maybe we didn't find anything interesting. Maybe the people watching this channel are like, hey, I know all this stuff already, but some people might have found it entertaining.
The other really kind of nice aspect of it is it was all put in a way, and not phrased, but written out so that it didn't feel like a heavy crunch. Like when we got the play test and you're like, here's the book, and you're just like, numbers. And so this was basically all right, I'm explaining all of the crunch without
using the crunchiness.
Exactly. I'm taking this peanut butter and making it smooth, is basically what they've done. All right, there.
I'm not.
I broke
You said that so casually.
I did.
So what was the first post about?
The first post had a bunch of basically bullet points. So the first one is, what is Pathfinder all about? This was basically a flowered, put together paragraph describing why they kind of went into Pathfinder 2nd Edition. If you're playing 1st Edition, it's okay to move into 2nd Edition.
Smart.
And this is what we were, and this is where we're going, and why we're going this direction.
Okay, I like that.
As an outsider or someone that is has been poo-pooing the 2nd Edition, this could be something that someone reads and goes, maybe I'll try it. The next one was core mechanics. Your proficiency in everything is what matters. How proficient you are with a bow, or how proficient you are with a sword, or how proficient you are with illusion magic. Again, we know that the game is all about skills. We know it's all about proficiency. The next thing that they talk about is what they call facing danger. Combat's a thing.
Oh.
Cool. The next one was creating a story. The story isn't just created on the DM side, it's also player created. It's based off of the decisions that you make by creating your background based off your ancestry, your background, and your class.
Asterisk, if your GM is worth anything.
Yes. And then the last thing that they mentioned, which was called What's Next. Every week from now on, I'm going to be making a blog post giving you more information about what's going on.
You little tease.
The next thing that they're going to be going over is character creation and leveling. I don't know if it's going to be formatted the same, where it's like, hey,
synopsis, or if it's gonna be maybe a more in-depth look at this is exactly how leveling is gonna work. We're gonna take you through leveling a fighter. Boop, done. I doubt that. But I'd like it.
Yeah, I mean,
Jason, if you haven't written that blog post yet and you want just a little bit of advice, give us so much detail that like it's gross. Give us so much detail that
I've got a better idea. Continue writing the synopsis because I think that these blog posts are made for people that haven't made their decision. Instead, send us the book or the PDF, and then that's the end of that. You just send that to us. Because reasons that are good, other than the fact that I'm preparing a second edition game and I have to basically tell all my players to sit on their hands until I get the book.
He sent us a thing that was like, fill this out for your character, and I'm like, bro, I don't even know what I'm playing. I don't know what the classes are yet.
Yeah. Two, send it to us so that we can start prepping our videos that we're inevitably going to be putting out. You tell me when I'm allowed to put it out. I won't do it until you say August 2nd. I will have like 10 videos ready, and then...
Oh, no, he won't.
Writing notes.
We'll have some.
We'll have some.
We'll have some.
Anyways, so the next thing that we're gonna go over, Mike Merle was talking to Kotaku about Baldur's Gate 3, and that's why that he was on.
Okay.
Because Baldur's Gate is a new video game.
It is a video game
that is based off of D&D 5e.
From what I understand, Mike Merle got in contact with Larian Studios and vice versa.
Yeah.
About the same issue with the Ranger being boring because it is literally entirely based on terrain.
One of its key features is terrain-based.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily the most engaging thing for a player because, hey, guess what? The player doesn't decide what terrain they're on. Everything else decides what terrain they're on. A mage can always decide what spell they're going to cast. There doesn't even have to be a valid target. You just cast Fireball at a wall and do no damage to anything. Okay, cool, you could do that. It's not gonna be great, but you could do that. You can't decide to be in the snow when you're in the desert.
At least from Larian's side, like, they didn't say this, but I imagine that if they were to make that a key feature of the game, there'd be a lot of work for every other class except for the Ranger, and it would make the Ranger a required class to have in their group. Or don't deal with travel in the game because travel is one of the most boring things to ever deal with. There's a reason why
fast travel exists.
Fast travel exists
in every video game ever.
Yeah, exactly. And that Oregon Trail is not like an active game that like people legitimately play right now. You play that game? Did you die of dysentery? You can either ignore that feature whatsoever because most players don't want to deal with, oh, I'm traveling through the desert, so now I have to worry about water, or I have to deal about...
I don't even want to hear you explain it.
Your Ranger loses out on getting to use one of its key features of being that character.
Right.
Or you force the rest of your team to deal with travel. And that is boring as all hell. So basically, in this conversation, they announced that this summer they're planning on throwing some new Ranger options out there on Unearthed Arcana. They're trying to figure out how to kind of implement this. It's not like we can go out and take every single player's handbook, pull it back, and re-give everyone a new one because the Ranger class is a part of the core rulebook. So they're trying to figure out a way to implement these changes without like disrupting that aspect of it. Something like what Paizo did with like the Unchained books.
Yeah.
Where it was like, here's the Unchained rogue.
Well, and I think the most important question here is what pets are going to be available for the new Ranger?
Shut the fuck up. It took me a second to think what you were trying to go at, and I was like, oh goddamn, the Alchemist. I did notice that some of the other well-known people within the D&D community, I can't remember his name, but he's like one of the D&D Beyond guys, like one of like the main dudes that does all the interviews.
Yeah.
He came out and was like, so I've been playing Ranger since like first edition. Y'all need to calm down with the Ranger. He doesn't need a buff. Dude.
Did anybody say buff?
No, they just said that they're gonna change.
They're gonna change the way it plays. They didn't say they're gonna make it stronger.
Okay.
They could very well make it weaker. It's not about buff or debuff. It's about making the primary mechanic interesting to play in all situations.
Yeah.
How about that?
Or majority of them.
Or majority of them.
Because and Mike Morrow flat out said, look, we thought that this was gonna be a larger like aspect of play than it actually became, giving the Ranger this special little thing that's going to be a key thing for this aspect of the game.
I get that mindset.
I get the mindset, and I don't blame Wizards of the Coast, or I don't blame Mike Merle or any of the guys that came up with this.
I don't think I can say this often enough in as many of our videos as possible. The main feature of any class has to be something that the class is in control of. You can't give a barbarian a rage mechanic that they can't activate. The barbarian only rages when he's below this much health. Like, oh, I have to wait? I can't rage now? It'd make more sense for me to rage now. The main thing has to be in the player's control, or else it's not fun. Because the game is about making decisions and like embodying your character. And if it's just this like equation and a situational trigger that activates the main thing about your class, it's not gonna be fun. Or one of the main things. It's not the main thing, but one of the main. You know what I'm fucking trying to say.
Head down to the comments, let us know if you think the Ranger needs to get changed and gets an improvement.
And again, different from a buff, different from a nerf.
Change. I said change. I just said change.
Oh yeah, I'm not, I'm talking to them, not you.
And Jason, if you're watching, my email is indigo@QueueTimes.com if you want to just go ahead and send me that 2nd edition PDF. It's also the account I use on Paizo's website, so.
That was the schmooziest thing I've ever seen you do.
Trying to make that peanut butter smooth. And then while you're down there, including you, Jason, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon. You know what? No, don't hit the bell icon.
Don't hit the bell. This isn't even reverse psychology.
No.
We learned a lot about the bell icon. Don't hit the bell icon.
Don't. Like, legitimately, don't. Like, if you
just come back.
Yeah, just come back. We're going to be in your subscriber feed anyways. If you want to hit the bell icon because you want to see every single piece of content that we produce, including the fact that we're going to be trying to live stream on YouTube, if that's something you're legitimately interested in, go ahead and hit the bell icon.
But if you're aggressively, exclusively only interested in 10-minute videos about Pathfinder, do not hit the bell icon.
Yeah, don't hit the bell icon. Just hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and then head over to Twitter and talk to me. My Twitter account is @IndigoQT.
And you can talk to me on Twitter, Jason. You can DM me on Twitter. You know what I mean? I don't want the book.
If you want to follow an account on Twitter that is going to be talking about our future Pathfinder 2nd Edition game, go ahead and follow Court of Corvids on Twitter. You'll be seeing QueueTimes retweet and me retweeting the stuff. I'm going to be slowly putting information out there about the world, about the game, some fun artwork. Y'all gotta get the books.
And after you've done those 9 things that we've just asked you to do, go ahead and talk to us on all the rest of these social media platforms down here. One of them is Patreon if you want to give us money, but no pressure, you don't have to. We'll talk to you next time. We've been GameGorgon. Bye.